Hello and welcome to this week's episode of So Fired. I'm Chelsea Toronto.
I'm Dr. Lindsay Regier.
And welcome each week on So Fired. We take life's shitty things and turn them into pretty things.
And we share all of our issues because we have so many of them. And this week we're talking about entitlement.
Outstanding. But before we get to that, let's do all the things. Lindsay, what is your So Fired of the week?
There you go. Welcome back, real voice. Okay, so if you have been following along for a little bit, you know that I wanted to be on a fitness cover magazine.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah, and I entered into this contest with literally the worst photos ever, but I was 20th out of 50, and then I did nothing. The first round just ended a few days ago, and I ended up 33 out of 50 in this round, which is not bad, but not good enough to move on to the next round.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. But the So Fired part about this is that Martha Stewart is one of the Sports Illustrated covers this year.
Yeah.
And she is 81.
Yeah.
So I have like 50 more years to make a magazine cover.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
That's a really cute one.
Yeah.
It's not going to take you that long. I bet you win next year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, I also have a So Fired.
Okay.
And I'm really proud of myself for doing this. I realized in a short amount of time that something was no longer serving me. Mm-hmm. You know, when you realize that you're sleeping with your mother, it's probably time to let that go.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. That seems like a good time.
So it just didn't work out. And it's like, cool. Yeah.
I'd like no other thoughts about it.
No. And that's great too, right?
Yeah.
Like I have no feelings.
Welcome to my life. Isn't it amazing to not have any feelings ever?
Yeah. It really is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, and I have a bad memory. So what are you talking about?
I will remember this. It is now in my AI chamber in my head, just in case you do have feelings one day. I'll remind you not to.
I don't think I will. Isn't that cool?
Not cool.
Awesome. All right. Issues?
Okay, here's my issue. So with my business, there's all these subscriptions and I don't know, like insurances and payment processing fees, like all these fees that I pay every single month that are just on auto payment. It is so freaking hard to cancel anything. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
You know what? I've been paying like $30 a month for this one thing I haven't used in 2 years because I could never figure out how to cancel it. So I had some free time yesterday and I finally figured it out. I'm like, am I finally not going to get charged this $30 every single month? It's like that. And then there's like business insurance I won't need anymore. I'm like, why can't I just do everything online? Why must I call someone every single time?
But you can sign up for it online.
I know.
They'll like take all your auto information.
I know. And I'm like, I'm going to have to like cancel this like phone bill.
Right.
But nope, can't do that online. And then like the phone call line. Oh my gosh. It's like, we'll be with you in 55 minutes.
100%. I am paying for a WebMD for dogs. I can't even find it. Like I can't find it to cancel it.
Oh,
I was thinking about calling my bank and be like, these are fraudulent charges at this point.
Yeah.
Please stop.
Yeah.
I belong to a women's group that keep auto renewing.
Yep. Stamps.com. That was another hard one to cancel.
I don't know why that's so funny. Who mails shit?
I did.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So, God, it is so frustrating.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. Well, that's a true issue if I've ever heard one. I agree with it 100%. I too have issues. This week's issue, I just came back from Mexico. When I arrived, I was feeling in shape and like doing all the things, working out every day, and my diet was tight. Go to put the bathing suit on, and I'm like, I feel fat. And my mom's in the room, and all of a sudden I hear this sinister laugh. She's like,
Oh.
Okay. That's a whole nother episode, which we will get to later. But I think why she was laughing is that you look so good in her mind, and yet you feel bad about yourself. And my issue is, why can't I be proud of myself? Because I might look my best Whereas you see other people who don't meet my mental standards, and they're happy and they're frolicking and they're living their best life, and then they've got 2 pina coladas in both hands.
Oh, yeah.
And they're strutting their stuff. And I'm like, and I'm covering up? This isn't about them, but this is about me. Like, when is it going to be good enough?
Yeah, that is your personal issue inside your head.
Oh, yeah. You don't think you'd have the same thing?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I went out to the pool the other day, and I'm like, oh, I better, like, make sure I put a towel on, like, before I stand up. I'm like, there's 2 fucking people here. Why do I care? I'm like, this guy has man boobs over here.
I know.
This girl is white AF, and, like, she can't get a tan to save her life, and, like.
And you don't have, like, an ounce of fat.
I don't, but sometimes I feel fat.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. So it's just like, it's never going to be good enough.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Very
frustrating. So I would like to work on that, but that's low on the list right now. Because you keep thinking, like, I have no motivation and I'm sloppy and fat and lazy.
I know. I'm like, Chelsea always asks me, okay, what are you wearing today for recording? I'm like, I cannot put on jeans today to save my life. I am in leggings only because I feel sick and I feel fat. That's just, it is what it is today.
That's right. Okay, well, go us. All right. Oh, before we get to entitlement, I do have one follow-up question for you as it relates to last week when you announced to our audience that you are excited to sell your practice. Question is, last week when you told the story, you said at the height of like 2020, things were really going well.
Yeah.
My question is, if things had continued to go well, would you have still sold it? So despite the fact that you have been miserable since like day 35.
Sure.
You've got a thriving practice, but your heart is miserable. So the two aren't aligned. But would you have still sold the practice?
Yeah, I think I would have.
Okay.
Because it still would have been a tether to other things that I want to do, because no matter what, even if I had someone else there every single day to do the treatments, I'm still managing it. And that still is a lot of stress and like a lot of things to think about all the time. So yeah, totally.
Do you think it would have been harder to let go of a thriving practice?
Maybe. I don't know.
Because other people might say, what are you talking about? Look, you're making all this money and you're so doing all this good for your patients.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it would have been maybe harder for even more people to understand. I mean, right now it's like good, but if it was like super good and thriving, I think people would be even like more surprised.
Right.
I mean, but if it was like that, I would probably be getting really burned out.
For sure. For sure.
So yeah, I'd be happy to sell.
Yeah.
I would just make more money off of it.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I found myself wondering that. Great.
Yeah. I gave myself 5 years when I first started. I was like, all right, I'm going to give it 5 years and then assess and go from there.
Great. Way to honor your heart.
Yeah.
All right. So entitlement. What do you got to say about that?
I'm so entitled.
Oh my gosh. So when we were coming up with this topic today, it's not only those that are and act entitled, but there's also the flip side in which we say, what are we entitled to? Right? Like basic freedoms and rights. And we're not just talking like constitutional things, but like we're entitled to be happy. We're entitled to like follow our dreams. So
without having people commenting on every single thing. I think that's what I thought about when we were talking about entitlement, is that, for example, on Instagram or celebrities, we all feel very entitled to comment on who they're dating, what career path they're taking, what they look like, what their outfit is. And it just becomes so common that if you're in the public eye, you are just up for scrutiny from anyone. And it doesn't even matter what you're doing. You can be like walking down the street and someone feels entitled to just be like, I hated your shoes. You should die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 pop culture examples of that: Elliot Page and Dylan. I don't know Dylan's last name. Dylan from TikTok and Budweiser. The transgender individual. Are you?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Whoa, those the public just came at them with pitchforks.
Oh my gosh. I don't understand the uproar about the Budweiser campaign.
And is your anger directed at the appropriate party?
Right.
Like, Dylan didn't do anything. Budweiser hired her. Budweiser hired her to do this.
Yeah, and
she did not come to them and say, "Hey, I got this great idea."
Mm-hmm. There's also something else today that I saw, that Adidas has a male model modeling a female swimsuit, one piece. And there's this college female swimmer. She's like, boycott Adidas. This isn't right. I'm like, oh my gosh. Maybe they're just showing that like a man or a woman can wear this one piece swimsuit, whatever you want to wear, whatever you're comfortable in. Like, let it be. I don't understand why the entitlement is to just like, I don't agree with you, so I'm going to burn you to the ground and cancel you until like there's nothing left.
I guess I was under the impression millennials and Zers were a little more accepting.
Well, Budweiser's crowd is not millennials or Zers.
Agreed. But the example you just gave of swimsuits, it's like, yo, you don't like it, don't worry about it.
I know.
Is this impacting you directly?
No.
No, my goodness gracious.
It's my only concern about becoming famous one day is I'm like, man, I'm going to say something and I'm going to have my hair a different color at some point. My face might change, and someone's going to say something about it.
Yeah, I'm learning on a small level that, what did they say? I don't know. Someone said, stop working out. Really? And then someone said, oh, those are the wrong shoes for that outfit. And you're like, yo, slow your roll. It's fine. Yeah, I guess they think because you're putting it out there, it's fair game.
Right. So I think that what we have to do is decide on what our faces are going to look like.
I do. It's
before we become super famous.
This is literally it.
I just have a couple things. What our hair is going to look like.
I think we're doing it.
Yeah, we're just like, it's not quite there yet because
it's not. Where's it going?
Well,
just like my swimsuit stitch. Like, can't this be good enough?
Yeah, but the second you change, like Lady Gaga, did you see her today?
No.
She's just skinnier. Everyone's on Ozempic.
Yeah.
So everyone's just like super skinny.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, Lady Gaga, what happened to her face? That doesn't look like her. I'm like, she got some fillers, she got skinny. But everyone's in an uproar. They're like, you cannot change. And then it's on the flip side. It's like, you're stuck in your ways. You need to change. Like, I can't win. I can't win with the entitlement crowd.
I just think we have to put our head down and not listen.
Mm-hmm.
So entitlement, from my perspective, is I just came back from Mexico with my mom. Update, I am 100% okay with her going. We spent 3 days. She's officially a Mexican national. So congratulations to her. In under a year, she came up with a goal and decided that this life is no longer for her. She's not being fulfilled from her family. She thinks her children are horrible. I am one of them.
And entitled to that opinion.
She is indeed entitled to that opinion. So she was nice enough to invite me down to Puerto Vallarta, where she finished up her paperwork, and now she's an official national. Oof, what a nice opportunity to go on vacation. Was there a catch? 100%.
No such thing as a free trip.
Never. So where does entitlement come? I'm sorry to throw under the bus, but I just gotta, so we stayed at a Marriott, and it was very nice. Again, it was paid for by a benefactor, and it was super nice. It was like day 1.5, when you're at this swimming pool. I might have been slightly enlightened. And she wouldn't say it, but I was like, just come clean. You think this hotel is trash? She's like, I do.
Oh.
I got her to go on, officially and admit to
Did you record her too? Or like, this is now on record?
I didn't. But I was like, you think this is trash? She's like, I'm just above this.
Wow.
And I've come too far to settle. So then we go out to dinner. And she's like, finally we're at not finally, that's not fair, but we are at a fine dining restaurant. White linens. It's very fancy. We're looking over like a marina with nothing but yachts. And yeah, no, that felt like what we've done in the past when my dad was alive. And she's like, I'm sorry, I just like bougie shit. And this is where I belong. And, the fact that she came clean, but she's like, this is where I belong. And she feels entitled to it. Now, am I in a position to knock it? No.
Because we do both like bougie shit.
I do. And she feels entitled to it. Is it a bad thing? No, not necessarily. But in the way in which she forces, like she's not comfortable, like the swimsuit situation, she's not comfortable with what is currently. It's always like seeking something more. I feel like we may have talked about this in previous episodes where why can't we just be happy? But like these people are coming at it with like, I deserve this.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly we all deserve it. But like, to what degree do we demand it?
Right. Because, I mean, okay, do you deserve it? Like, did you pay for this vacation? Did you?
Where's the gratitude?
Right. Like, that's exactly it. Like, if there's no gratitude, I don't feel like you deserve to say, like, well, I need to be here. Like, be grateful that you are here. And I know that your mom isn't frequently at yacht clubs.
She used to be.
Yeah. So she's living in the past.
Indeed.
Sorry.
And like her childhood, she grew up with like more wealth than she's currently experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever there was like an altercation at home between her parents, her dad would like shower her mom with lots of jewels, which I experienced that in my life, where you would be compensated after a big blow up. This is where very domestic violent situations, this is that cycle where you have like an episode and then they come crawling back on hands and knees. But she didn't necessarily care about that, but rather the entitlement of like the stuff. Her behavior. Oh, maybe the title of this episode should be like, my mom's not great. When she was under the impression she lost her like passport and some of her paperwork while we were waiting for our flight at the gate. So I'm quietly, because she didn't like my behavior, so she wanted to walk up ahead of me. And I was okay with that because let's just avoid any potential drama. Mm-hmm. I'm quietly sitting in those rows, like right before the gate, you're knee to knee with the other people, just reading my book. And she comes over, Chelsea, there's an emergency. Stop what you're doing. There's an emergency. I've lost all my paperwork. She's like, this is loud. Everybody's hearing it.
Yeah.
Because everybody needs to stop what they're doing and be alarmed. So she goes up to the counter, and I'm always like, keep your wits about you.
Right.
Let's just do all the obvious things. It's like check pockets and like zippers. And so I first thought to unzip the front pocket on her suitcase, and there it was. And I walked up and I held it. I got the ticket agent's attention, waved it, and then she like tapped my mom on the shoulder and like pointed. So my mother, where was it? I was like, well, it was in your suitcase right here. And I was like, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Never a thank you.
Yeah. You know what? I feel like I could have gone down the same path as your mom because I was a pretty spoiled child. And anything I wanted, I pretty much got it because I would throw such a shit fit and I would stomp my feet and cry in the store until I got everything that I wanted.
How old were you? At what point did this stop?
I think it stopped like when I got to the end of middle school.
Fair.
Yeah.
That is a fair, reasonable path. While it's like,
Yeah. And even when I was like a little bit older, I was like, no, your rules are stupid. I'm doing whatever I want. And I could have just, it is definitely entitlement when I'm younger because I could just be like, no, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to get everything that I want. I don't care what you say. And I deserve everything that I want. So I can see like how it happened because when you're spoiled and you're used to getting everything, no matter what, and then the second it's not like that anymore, kind of like she kind of developed that too late in life. Like at least that stopped for me in about high school times and reality set in. But she didn't have reality set in or like have life circumstances.
No, she's a little more delusional. She's becoming a little more delusional. Yeah. I think when you spend time, you know what? I have to say, I can't believe this. This is not even the example I want to give for today's entitlement.
Oh,
I don't know where my head's at. I'm still on vacation mode. All right, ready?
Yeah.
So we are at the beach. Now, folks, I don't know that I've actually come clean with this, but the marriage I was in was very abusive.
Mm-hmm.
Money was thrown around and kind of dangled like the carrot. Like, well, what are you going to do? You can't afford it, right? It was always came back to money. Just deal with it and accept it. He would also give money to my mother. Not a lot, but enough. Pay her phone bill. She would accept his money, despite the fact that she knew how bad the relationship was.
Mm-hmm.
Was it violent at times? Yes, but violence can look like a lot of things. So don't just assume that it's like physical, right? There's a ton of different other ways in which you can be abused mentally and emotionally. Anyway, so she knows, and this is in the beginning. Then it gets progressively worse, as those things may happen.
Mm-hmm.
She still continues to take his money. What does she do? She actually now reaches out behind my back and will ask him for money.
Oh, wow.
She'll take it, and she does it willingly. And I was like, this is kind of, I remember an example very similar to this. It's called O.J. Simpson and Nicole Simpson.
Ooh.
Because her parents accepted his money.
Oh.
Her parents, I don't know to what, I mean, obviously I'm not privy to what happened at their home, but kind of encouraged her to stay because so many people were dependent on that source of income.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes. So I said to my mother, it's kind of like that, I mean, I'm not dead yet, but
Right.
like, we're still taking his money. And she's like, well, you got to do what you can to get ahead. Ouch, ouch, ouch. I don't know if that's entitlement.
I don't know if that's entitlement, but maybe a little bit. She feels entitled to have money even at your expense. So yeah, that's a little entitlement.
Ouch. It kind of hurts. So if anyone ever wants to hang out with me again, just be patient. I mean, like, look what I'm dealing with. I'm just gonna lose my head here. I'm just like, this is. And finally, she was like, I was like, come on, you gotta admit this is just a little bit like that. She's like, and while she would never say yes, she kind of gave me the like visual. Like, I realized that I'm using facial expressions largely because any of the words that you like would have used as a child were never fully accepted. So my facial, like, I can get away with saying a lot by using my facial expressions. And I realized that this trip. And I finally like gave her this look like, come on, just throw me this bone. And she kind of acquiesced just in her face.
Gotcha.
And I was like, I think this is entitlement. Whatever it takes for her to get ahead.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well, she is living her best life now, moving to Mexico. So who's a sucker now? We're still stuck.
I look forward to, you talk about that emotional release, like the emotional hose, like the kink will be out as soon as you're finally wrapped up with your business.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to experience the same thing where I just feel like that burden and I don't feel and I'm hoping that this also motivates me to clean up a couple of other extenuating circumstances in my life so that now I'm just living my own life without negative influences coming to like tear me down. And it makes sense why I've been in a lot of like shitty relationships.
Yeah. A few days in Mexico with your mom, we'll give you some revelations.
Right? And it made sense. Like the energy that I felt, the excitement to leave for Mexico, I feel like I always get like a surge of excitement when I leave for any trip, motivated me to like stop sleeping with my mother. Because any relationship that starts to feel like that, it's not her specific. It's, I don't know if you want to, I hate to use those buzzwords right now.
Oh, but give me a buzzword.
Like the narcissism, like the daughter of being a narcissist is a real doozy. It is a very challenging cycle. No different than the cycle of abuse and then being showered with gifts. It's like that. It's because they make you feel guilty that it's your fault and you should be repairing these bonds. And like, I'm upset because of something you did, which is not true. Just to set the records, right? And so to have the relationship and like the role of really shitty relationship has been filled. And it has been for 15 years.
Done.
So
Done
new people don't get, like, you're not getting a lot of slack.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, you better double down. And I don't feel entitled, but like, you better come at me like hard and like willingly and like I deserve, and maybe this is entitlement, like I deserve to be treated well.
Like a normal human.
Oh my God, we did not title this episode accurately.
Maybe it should be, I'm entitled to be treated
like a human. And yes, humor comes from childhood trauma. It comes from adulthood trauma too.
Yeah. So if you're wanting to because you guys are like, how are you so funny? Chelsea, that's a trauma.
Like I was thinking about the episode while we were, a couple hours. I was kind of, on Tuesdays, folks, I get really like mentally, I'm now conditioned to start thinking about the episode. I was staring off into space, like looking at the ocean. What a great way in which to be inspired. So she swims up and she's like, do you have to waste all of your brain power today? I was like, let me get this straight. You're actually trying to control my thoughts at this point? And I said it out loud. She like swam away. I was like, I'm just saying it's not enough to control my actions. And she was annoyed that I was on my phone. And I'm like, girl, I am just trying to keep from like exploding.
Yeah.
And yeah, it wasn't. She's like, aren't you shocked by how much you're on your phone?
No, because I don't want to talk to you.
I was like, I'm just trying to keep us together.
Yeah. Okay.
How was that therapy session?
Okay. So I think a very productive therapy session has concluded. And
sorry.
we want to know, what are your thoughts on entitlement? Like pop culture wise, do you feel like they were just overly entitled to be commenting on everyone and everything?
Flip side of this, what do you deserve that you're not getting? Right? That you are in fact entitled to, like
as a human.
Yeah. Being treated with decency.
Yeah. Okay, so take a screenshot of this episode with your takeaways and tag them and your bestie so that they can also give this a listen. And we'll see you next week.
Okay, yeah, one last thing. Don't sleep with your mother.
Okay.
Disclaimer. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The stories and statements expressed herein are experiences and opinions. They may not represent the views of the production studio or the hosts. If you disagree with our content, that's okay. No podcast is perfect for everyone.